Hello everyone and welcome to this 22nd episode of HHF Barbanit Stories. My name is Linda and I'm talking to you from Reykjavik, Iceland. You can find links to everything that I talk about on this episode in the description box down below. And if you like what you see, I highly encourage you to like and subscribe. Currently I'm co-hosting one knit along in my Ravelry group with Stephen West for the Hibernating collection that came out earlier this month. It's running until the end of February and you can participate in the knit along by joining the Ravelry group and taking part in the chatter thread that's happening there. There's also a separate thread for finished objects, and you can also use the Hibernating KAL hashtag on Instagram. So yes, today I have quite a few things to talk about. I have 4 finished objects, I think 5 probably, and I have 2 WIPs that I've been working on quite a lot, and then I have one project that has been planned out and I got the yarn and everything. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about WIP control, like how to manage your works in progress, how I manage my works in progress. And a lot of people have talked about that they think having one is enough. A lot of people like to have a lot of them. And most people are somewhere like in between. So I just wanted to go over quickly how I do it. It's not a rule, it's not anything that anyone has to do anything about. It's just the way I like to manage my works in progress. So I want to go over that with you a little bit because I have gotten quite a few questions about how to manage your works in progress and not get it, not have it so it gets out of control for anybody. So today I am wearing my bubble sweater. This is a design by Stephen West. The blue yarn colorway is Isle of Arran, and the speckled one, the main color, is Autumn at Rhinebeck, and they are both La Bien-Aimée DK. So okay, I'm just gonna jump right into finished projects. The 2 first ones that I wanted to show you, I only have photos of to put here on the screen, and I will do so now. They are both the same project, made out of the same yarn, just 2 different colorways and 2 different sizes. It's a pattern called Glóð. It's a baby hat written by my friend Taka, who is the owner of Litla Prjónabúðin, and you can buy the pattern on Ravelry, both in English and Icelandic. So I made these 2 baby hats for coworkers who just went on maternity leave. I just wanted to, give them a little something for their babies. And if you can hear meowing, Baldur is kind of, Baldur is roaming around like usually. Yeah, so I hope you don't get distracted by that. So I finished 2 of those hats. And then I have socks. These are the socks that I made. I love them. I've been wearing them, so you might see that they have actually been worn. I made these out of nomadic yarns, Dobby's a Free Elf colorway, and the gray for the heel and the toe is just some Regia sock yarn that I had in my stash. And I did an afterthought heel for these socks because I wanted to keep the stripes nice and neat, and I didn't want to interrupt the striping sequence of these socks. And they fit me really well, and I'm very happy with them. So those are my first, this is my first finish for this episode. I cast on 60 stitches using 2.25 millimeter needles, and I always knit my socks from the cuff down, and I always do them on DPMs because I don't know, I'm not a big fan of doing magic loop in general. So I think how you make your socks is such a personal preference. It's kind of, I always compare it to what kind of a bra you use, because, you know, what fits you and your feet is so different from person to person, and also how you like to work your socks. A lot of people do them both at the same time. A lot of people do them from the toe and up. I like to use DPNs and go down. So it's just a matter of personal preference, and I think it takes a while to find your groove when you're making socks. There's no one rule fits them all, in my opinion. And I think it also depends on the yarn that you're using, what kind of a heel you do for your socks. So yeah, these are free elf socks that I love. Another finished object is my second finished object for the hyper knitting knit along in my Ravelry group, and I did the Pierre shawl. It's way too big to fit in the frame, but I'm gonna lift it up so you can see it. I'm really happy with it. And this is all made out of DK weight yarns. The first colorway that I used up here is leftovers that I had from the Ingalls sweater that I did for my baby sister. And then I went into Autumn at Rhinebeck, leftovers from this sweater. And then I went into, like right down here, I went into Life in the Long Grass DK. I don't remember the two colorways that I used. The last two colors, both for the border and, see where I switched. I switched here, like this colorway and this one are both Life in the Long Grass. One of them is called Into the Woods, I believe. Something to do with woods. But I will put the info of the colorways on my Ravelry page because I don't remember them at the top of my head, and I'm not getting up to go and get the rest of the yarn. So that's that. But this was a super quick knit. I knit most of it. Took me like a week or something. Yeah, this shawl took me, I don't know, I did like most of it in a week or something like that. Didn't take that long at all, and it knits up super fast because it's DK weight. I mean, you do have a lot of stitches here at the bottom, but I love big and cozy shawls, so this was the perfect project to have on your needles. So yeah, that's another finish. And then I also finished my Enchanted Nessa sweater. I was wearing this one yesterday. After I finished it this weekend, I think on Sunday, and then I washed it and blocked it on Monday. And then I wore it yesterday, which was Tuesday. And after wearing it for a whole day, I am going to take out the rib and make it just a little bit longer. Because of the short row shaping here at the top, I felt that when I moved around, you know, just as you do during the day, it went up a little bit, and I didn't want to make it super long, but I think it's a little bit too short for me. So I am gonna take out the bottom rib and knit it a little bit longer and then do another rib. I think it's gonna fit me better and I'm gonna be happier with it. Now I did make a lot of changes to the pattern. If you've seen this pattern around, you've probably noticed that the splitting of the sleeves is a little bit low on the body. So I only did 4 short row sections on the yoke. There's supposed to be 5. I only did 4, and then I split for the sleeve. And then when you continue, I just measured where, like from the neckline, I just measured how long it was down to my split and knit it until it was the same length on the other side, so that it wouldn't be crooked and that it would hit me at my armpits, not super long down on the body. So I did the same when I did the Enchanted Mesa dress, which you can also see on my Ravelry page. And I think the alternations are given in the pattern for the dress. This is all made out of Labianame. The color is in DK weight, and I did a folded over. I did a rib and then I folded it over, so it's double. All the color pops are also Labianame singles, but the body, the main colors of the sweater are Labianame in the sport weight base. And then I did, because I wanted a little bit of added texture and a little bit of added texture, and I was thinking about maybe continuing the stripes that I did here in the short row sections throughout the body, but then I decided not to do that, and instead I did these garter row or pearl row textured bumps here, like here and there throughout the entire sweater. So what I did, I just picked at random a strand of the singles and I knit for whatever many stitches I wanted to. Some of them are super short, some of them go all the entire way around. And then I continued knitting, and when I came back to them, I just purled all those double stranded stitches, and that made this nice texture for the body. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it adds just this little bit of something to the sweater, a little bit extra. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like I said, the only thing that I'm not super happy with is the length. I thought it was long enough, and it is if I'm just wearing it and just standing still, basically. But I mean, at work I'm always like sitting down, getting up, moving my hands, and it pulls up a little bit and a little too much for my liking. So I am going to lengthen it just a little bit, and I will probably do that after I finish uploading this episode and stuff. I'll probably do it tonight. I just need to take out the rib at the bottom and just lengthen it. I'll probably lengthen it this much and then do like lengthen it down to here and then do another rib at the bottom. I also did an I-cord bind off for the sleeves with the singles held with the sport weight yarn. And yeah, that's my Enchanted Mesa. It was really fun, really fast. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to use it a lot after I lengthen it. so that I'm more comfortable in it. Yesterday I was wearing a black tank top underneath because, like I said, I thought it was moving up a little bit too much for my liking, but I think it's gorgeous. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And like I said, I'm gonna be using this a lot when I've adjusted it to my liking. Okay, those are all my finishes for the week. Isn't that right? Yep. Okay. I have been working on a new pair of socks, and these come with a little bit of a story. Yes, these socks come with a little bit of a story. I had 2 skeins of this yarn in my stash. This is from HHF Fibers on the Twist sock base, and the colorway is called Fool's Gold. And it's one of my favorite colorways from HHF Fibers. I think it's beautiful. And it's yellow, which is always a plus. Like the base, the majority of the color is yellow. It has all kinds of other different it has a lot of other colors in it as well, but like the main color is yellow. So I really do love it, and it knits up beautifully. I had 2 skeins of this in my stash, and 2 weeks ago I was going to a knit group on a Sunday with my friend Helga, and she came here and picked me up, and I was going through my stash of sock yarn, and I grabbed both of the skeins, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give one of the skeins to Helga. And I gifted her the skein, and then we went to knit group, and it was just like on the table, and we didn't really have a plan for them, for our skeins of yarn, but as the day went by, I was like, maybe we should do friendship socks. Like, we have the same colorway, and we should make socks for ourselves, and have matching socks, at least matching colorways. So that's what we did. Helga finished her socks because she is a super fast knitter. I've just passed the heel on mine. Let's see. I can show them to you. This is what mine look like. And again, I cast on 60 stitches, and these are just plain vanilla socks with a heel flap and a gusset. Nothing complicated, or yeah, it's just, I wanted the yarn to just be the focus of these socks. So they are a lot of fun and make me think of Helga, which is always a plus. The other thing that I've been working on the most lately is my Trista sweater. And I'm getting it here out of the bag. Let me see. And this is gonna be finished pretty soon. I'm almost done with the first sleeve. Trying to rescue the stitches that are slipping off the needles here. Here we go. I'm almost done with the first sleeve of this. Put these ends in here so you can see them. And this is what it looks like. The first sleeve is almost done. I think I have 2 more decreases to go, and then of course put this pattern on the sleeve and then do the cuff, and then that's done. And this sleeve took me an evening, so I need 2 evenings and this sweater will be done. And I am so in love with this sweater. I think it's beautiful. I love the pattern, and the yarn is just amazing. The yarn that I'm using for this was gifted to me by my friend Steffi from Usitita, and this is, now she's not carrying this in her shop that I know of. She calls them country singles. This is a natural gray, 200 meters to 100 grams. It's 75% blue-faced Leicester wool and 25% Masham wool. It knits up beautifully. I love it. I don't know if she's going to carry it. She hasn't really decided on it yet. I asked her a few days ago if she was going to be selling this. She said she hadn't made up her mind yet about it, but you know, let's hope that she does, because this is amazing. I love it so much. I can't wait to wash and block this and start wearing it. I think it's gonna be ridiculously beautiful. So yeah, this is my Trista sweater by Jennifer Steinklas. I'm horrible with names. Always have been and always will be. Okay, the next thing that I'm gonna talk about is a little cute story. I haven't started this project, but it's gonna be on my needles probably as soon as I finish my Trista. At the latest after I get home from Edinburgh, but because I might have to do some speedy extra knitting before Edinburgh, but you know, at the latest this will get on my needles after I get home. My daughter Caritas, who you have probably seen on this podcast at some point if you've been watching, she has a baby sister who's 5 on her father's side, and this kid is amazing and we adore her, and she sometimes comes over and gets to spend the night, and we have pizza and ice cream, and it's so much fun, and I adore the kid. She is the most fun kid ever, I think. She's hilarious, and I have made her a couple of sweaters throughout her life, and hats and socks and mittens and all kinds of stuff, and she is so knitworthy. She loves everything that I do. A few weeks back, around Christmas time, I gifted her mom, my daughter's stepmom, I gifted her a sweater, the sweater that I made for the Anything Icelandic knit along that I hosted. And when I went to their house with the sweater, she was like, I need a new Linda sweater. And I was like, you do? Doesn't your fit anymore? And she was like, no, I need a new one. So she came over last weekend and got to spend the night, and she walked up to me with her huge blue eyes and was like, Linda, my Linda sweater. She calls all the sweaters that I've made for her Linda sweaters, which I think is adorable. She was like, my Linda sweater is getting way too small, and I really need a new one, and I want one without a zipper. And I was like, okay, do you know what kind of sweater you want? And she was like, no, just want something beautiful. And she kept describing her dream sweater. And I put a couple of knitting books and pattern books in front of her, and I was like, here you go. Go through them, and if you find a sweater that you really like, just mark the page with like a sticker and you can show it to me. And I expected her to bring me back like 20 different sweaters, but she only picked one. And she picked a really pretty one. So she picked out of this beautiful book by Tin Can Knits called Strange Brew. she picked this one called Icefall. So this is the sweater that I'm gonna be making for her, because she is just the cutest. And how can you say no to that? I mean, you must be heartless if you can. So yeah, that was on Friday night. And then on Saturdays, I always go to knit group, and she loves coming with us to knit group. And I was like, okay, we're going to knit group tomorrow, and if this is the sweater that you want, maybe we can pick out some yarn for the sweater. And she was like, oh, yes, I love it. And we went to the knit store, and she picked out the yarn. And she's just a genius, this kid. For the main color of the sweater, she picked this beautiful blue from Jameson and Smith. So this will be the main color for the sweater. And then for the pattern colors, she picked these. So this is gonna be the new sweater for Mia. And I think she did a really good job. She's 5, and she was like, this is beautiful, I want it. And I was like, okay, you can have it. So yeah, I'm gonna be making her this special collaboration sweater between the two of us. I mean, she picked the pattern and the yarn and the colors, and I'm just gonna knit it for her, and I know that she's gonna enjoy wearing it a lot, just as she has with all the other sweaters that I have made for her so far. So it's perfect, and I'm really happy to be able to make her happy, because like I said, she is super knitworthy. She loves everything that I do, and she's always so interested in everything that I'm doing. When she comes over, she wants to peek into my project bags, and she was like, oh, what is this? And what are you making? And who is this for? And are you making something for me? And she's just amazing. So, and I love making small humans happy. I really do. And if I can do it through knitting, that's even better. Yesterday, I went to my knit store, Little Prjónabúðin, and to my immense pleasure, I found out that she had ordered in new yarn. And this is what we have now at the knit store. I cannot wait to make socks out of this. This is beautiful. Mondim by Rosa Pomar. It's 100% Portuguese wool from rosaPomar.com, and I got these 2 colorways, but I wanted like 15 more. But these are beautiful, and I can't wait to knit with them. So I was really, really, really excited that now she's carrying this amazing yarn. And yeah, there's no nylon in this, but I've heard that socks made out of this wool, knit at a really fine gauge, they wear perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. What else is new? I got the new Lina magazine, and the design that I'm most excited to make first, there are quite a few in here that I'm in love with, but I was super excited to see what Laika from the Fiber Tales podcast had in this magazine. And she has this beautiful sweater called Nerea. And I think it's stunning. And I think the construction is really interesting. I love the details in this. And if you watch her latest episode, I will put a link to it down below. If you watch her latest episode, you can listen to her talk about it in much more detail and with much more insight than I'm able to. But this is something that I really, really want to make. And I have 2 yarns picked out that I want to swatch with. One of them is this. This is Smeltan from the Faroe Islands. I'm not sure that I'm going to make it in this color exactly, but I just got a little leftover of a skein from my friend Taka, just to make a swatch and see if I liked how it knitted up, because I have something in mind, like how I wanted to drape and stuff. So I'm gonna make a swatch out of Snældan 2-ply and see if I can get gauge and if I like the stitch definition in it, etc. And then I also am thinking about maybe making a swatch in the new West wool that Stephen and Malia from Stephen and Penelope just launched. I think this would be really beautiful in that. So these are kind of like my 2 main options that I have. At least, you know, they're brewing in my mind at this point. I might change my mind. I don't know. We'll see what happens. At least I'm gonna go with Snældan first and see how I like it. And then, you know, if I'm not sure, then I have some other options in my head that I just need to, like, I need to make swatches and decide on what I want to use for this sweater. And I think, I mean, I've used Snældan quite a lot, but I've mostly used the 3-ply. I've never used the 2-ply, but I think it's beautiful. I really, really, I love working with Snældan. People think it's a little bit on the rustic side, but that doesn't bother me at all. And it's just, it's such a beautifully spun yarn. So I'm really excited to see how it works out. And I kind of hope that I can use Snældan for this sweater, because I really want to. So yeah, that's all the knitting content that I have for you this week. Okay, so for WIP management, first of all, I keep all my WIPs in project bags. In there I keep, of course, the project and all the yarn that I plan on using for the project. This is super convenient because then I can just grab whatever project that I want to work on if I'm leaving the house. My socks, I usually always have socks on the needles, so I always keep my socks in my backpack that I take with me everywhere. And I knit on my socks on the bus, at work during my coffee break, and sometimes here at home during the evenings as well. But they are always with me. I never leave the house without a project, because, you know, if you have a doctor's appointment or something, you sometimes have to wait a little bit. And I like to knit on the bus because otherwise I'm just sitting there doing nothing. And I just get a few rows in. But if I'm going to knit group or something, I just pick a project to bring along with me. And in the project bag, there's everything that I need. I usually knit from my screen, either from my computer screen or my phone. I find it really convenient. I know a lot of people print out the patterns that they are working on and take notes and stuff. I usually never do that unless it's a really, really complex design. Then I sometimes print it out so that I can take notes. But for most projects, I just knit from my screen. So yeah, I don't know. I've always done it like that, and it works fine for me. But it's different for everybody. You do you, and I do me. Okay. Another thing that I do, I make a WIP list. So I list up all the projects that I'm working on. And then when I finish them, like I finished Enchanted Mesa, I just tick it. I just put a tick box and I was like, done. So at the moment I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 WIPs on the go. They were 11, but I finished both Enchanted Mesa and the Pierre Shawl recently, and I updated my list on February 11th. So on this list is Vertices Unite, Kaltbakker Shawl, Starting Point, Go to Raglan, Textures Unite, Hildeberg Shawl, one test knit that I can't talk about, the Friendship Socks, and Trista. The last time that I did this WIP list was in December. Since then, 2 projects didn't make the cut. I go over my projects, like all my WIPs, at least 2 to 3 times a year. I take everything out. It's kind of a KonMari kind of thing, if you are familiar with that. Those shows on Netflix and the book that she wrote and everything. It's kind of like that. I didn't know until I actually watched the shows that I was doing kind of what she's doing. I take out all my works in progress, I put them in a pile, and I open every single project back and I go over it. Am I going to finish this project? Am I still enjoying this project? If the answer is yes, it goes into the yes pile. If the answer is no, it goes into the frog pile. And I frog them. I just frog them and I use the yarn for something else. If a project makes the yes pile about 3 times, but I still haven't worked on it, next time I go over it, it usually just goes into the frog pile and I frog it. Because if I haven't worked on it in such a long time, the chances of me actually finishing this project are slim to none. And this took me a while to figure out. I used to have lingering projects for years and years and years. And then when I went over all my WIPs, I was like, am I ever going to finish this? And maybe I fell out of love with the project or with the yarn, or I didn't find that the yarn fitted the project, or something was just not sitting right with me. I'm not afraid to frog my projects. I'm not one of those people who think that if you start something, you have to finish it. I don't want to force myself to finish something that I'm not enjoying. So it's basically 3 strikes and you're out. That's kind of my rule. So that's how I try to manage my my WIPs. And then I make new WIP lists at least every 2 months or something. But every time I finish a project, I check it off the list, because just that makes me feel efficient, and that I'm actually finishing stuff and getting things done, and that keeps me motivated and enthusiastic about what I'm actually doing. I do have 2 long-term projects that I'm in no rush to finish. They don't have a deadline. I don't care if they take me a month or 5 months or 5 years. They are both big projects. They are both scrappy kind of projects, and they are both blankets. One of them is crochet. That is the granny square blanket that I showed you in the last episode. And yes, I have been putting in a square every Sunday since then. So on the first Sunday I attached the 3 squares that I had already done, and last Sunday I made a new square and I attached it to the blanket. So I am keeping up with it, at least so far. The other project is another scrappy blanket. It's the northeasterly blanket. I haven't worked on it since I talked about it last time, but I keep it close by and I do a few rows here and there whenever I feel like it. So yeah, so I guess I have 9 projects and then the 2 long-term projects that are blankets. And that's how I do it. It helps me have like an oversight of what I'm working on and what I'm doing, and it keeps me motivated to be able to. I'm a really visual person and I love making lists and I love getting things done. So just having a list and checking things off is something that helps me a lot with, like I said, getting things done and keeping me on top of things. So yeah, since I made my last WIP list, there have been at least 2 or 3 projects that I have decided to frog since then. One of them was the gloaming tide mystery knit along from Isolda. After I saw the finished item, I just wasn't sure that I wanted to do it. I wasn't really enjoying the process of it, and I really wanted to use the yarn for something else, so I frogged it. The other project was Amsterdam, which is a circular shawl designed by Stephen West. I had done a lot of it, but my cat got into it. He pulled the needle out of it and it had frogged down to somewhere and it didn't feel like picking it up again and figuring everything out again. So I frogged that as well. So, and I was okay with it because I hadn't worked on it in years and years. So yeah, it was time to say goodbye to that project. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!